and let us all do we can to build a better future.
With that being said, we're going to move on now to our next story. So, look, I want to play this video. It's Tulsi Gabbard, I know, controversial, being on Fox News with Tucker Carlson, another thing controversial. But I saw this video clip, and I just wanted to I want this to be burnt into your minds about really the environment in Congress. Now, when Tulsi Gabbard was running for president during the 2020 primary, when she was on Joe Rogan's show, what did she say about the environment in Congress? That it's like a high school. You have these politicians acting like high schoolers. There's cliques. There's certain groups to be part of. There's things you're supposed to do and not do. And I think it's a real insight that was by far more impressive than anything AOC did or talked about Congress when she first got into office, because it's talking about really who these people are, these politicians. And a lot of these politicians who are now in their 80s and 90s have been in power for so long that they're acting like royalty. And what have I said on the show? It's not that these politicians don't like you. They don't think about you. They're well protected. They have wonderful benefits, healthcare, gold-plated healthcare, and they have a six-figure salary. And they voted to increase that pay for themselves as well as an increase to their benefits. So these politicians do not like you. And I just want these words from Tulsi Gabbard to be burnt into your mind so you understand the environment that we are in. Let's play this first video right here. Let's play this video.
I was making my way through the Capitol, kind of trying to figure out where I had to go and which halls to take. And I asked Capitol security, Capitol Police, like, hey, can you point me in the right direction? I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. And she's like, yeah, I'll just walk you down. I'm going that way. And I was, all right, cool. So we started talking. And I was like, man, there's like 90 new members of Congress here. We must be driving you crazy. She's like, you know what? We don't mind you guys right now. In 3 months, half of you won't even say hello to us when you walk in the door because you're going to feel like you're too important. And these things kind of set the tone for me from the beginning of recognizing people who go there and kind of feel like they shine in the so-called glory of being a member of Congress and unfortunately forget who they actually work for, that the people who voted for us and who sent us there, those are the people that we are accountable to. Those are the people who we should be thinking of at every minute of every day that we are on that job.
Yeah. And so here's the thing. These politicians, when they get into power, they forget, especially, of course, the corporate candidates. They're the ones that have been paid off by their donors.
Right. They're not forgetting anything. They remember exactly who got them into office.
But then you have, and look, I'm going to go on a stretch here. You're going to have your authentic Republican politicians and authentic Democratic politicians that maybe ran on good intentions that actually won, surprisingly. But as soon as they're in, they realize that they were the radical that wasn't supposed to win, and now they got to conform. Now they got to change things. They got to watch the way they speak. They got to lower their tone. They have to fall in line with the party ideology. And to hell with the people. It's about the donors and the party as a whole. It's not about helping out the American people. And this is where Roger Meadows, at this point, he's convinced me we need to abolish all parties. And look, I'm on board with third parties. I was really proud of the work that Revolution Blackout Network did with the third party summit. I think that we need to see more of that. But the issue is, and this is something that we have to come to terms with when it comes down to political parties, and let's say the Greens and Libertarians were able to get their act together. And let's say that they were winning seats at the state level and federal level. Well, instead of the two-party system, would it be the four-party system? Because if you have something like Citizens United here in the United States, where, again, we can buy off a politician, we've legalized bribery, that's a huge problem. We got to get rid of parties. We have to look at individuals and why they're running for office. And these are words that Tulsi Gabbard, when she's talking about the fact that these politicians forget. They forget because that's the environment of Washington, D.C. They don't think about us. If they really cared about us, we would have been getting a UBI throughout all of 2020 and 2021. We would have gotten student debt forgiveness taken care of. We would have gotten Medicare for all. We would have invested into our infrastructure. Something would have happened. Something would have happened. But they didn't do it. Kira, Daniel, your comments.
Yeah, so I mean, my feelings about Tulsi Gabbard herself and Tucker Carlson are not so great. And I absolutely believe what she's saying in this clip. And the reason that I believe what she's saying in this clip is because this is humanity that we're dealing with, right? And so it's not like those people are especially bad. It's that those people are human and they have succumbed to all of the different, like, not only their own traumas and what they're dealing with in their upbringing and in their lives, but all of the societal, pressures, all the gender pressures that came along with their upbringing, all of the, religious pressures or cultural pressures that came along with it. And due to that and that programming and a lot of people not doing inner child work, what ends up happening is they get into these positions that are treated like messianic ways. Like, the media really portrays people who are in our government as these very special, somewhat more, what's the word I'm looking for? Just greater than people. Yeah. People that are, better and above the fold and better than the rest. When if you listen to a lot of these people speak, you'll know immediately that that's actually not the case. And legislating is actually a very boring job. It's just that these people have risen to this level of superstardom and wealth that all of a sudden now they start to believe this like narrative that they are these super special people and that they can't be bothered by, the regular people who just like volunteered on their campaigns or whatever, and so this is, and that's not to say like, so that makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay, but it makes it not surprising that this is the attitude. And, until something actually breaks through that bubble in a significant way, it's not going to change. And I hate the censorship of YouTube because there's so much more I want to say and examples I want to give, and I cannot give those examples, due to censorship. So I'll toss it to Daniel.
So,
Final word.
Yeah, it's very funny. It's like, we bring up Tulsi more than a lot of other people that are in or out of government, but the only reason we do is she says things that are different. Mm-hmm. And it's so, again, it's so crazy that like if we're talking about anti-war, it's like that's sort of like the only person that's kind of high up in government that that'll make the points that she does. And I think that alone is immensely depressing. I think it's immensely depressing that the only person we can really turn to consistently is Tulsi on these specific issues. Or Tulsi saying, hey, the inside of Congress is not functioning in a way that's useful. That's something you won't... If AOC said that all the time, we'd be talking about it. But she doesn't. She didn't. And I remember, it's amazing, like, all the people that, like, Tulsi's, like, the worst, she's a traitor, says The View. The same View that a couple years ago thought she was wonderful when she was on the trajectory to be the head of the Democratic Party. Or not the Democratic National Committee. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone loved her, and it's just, like, amazing. It's, like, how it works out that way, but it also works out the way you're talking about it. It's, like...
100%,
It's easy to do what they're doing. Going down the path of least resistance, taking the bribes, saying yes, voting for bills that aren't going to help your constituents is easy. Going against that is really hard because then everyone snaps their head at you. Everyone gives you the silent treatment. Mm-hmm. Everyone tells you that you're less than. Everyone gets the news to then start stories on you. Oh, well, this was happening, and now she's bad. Like, Tulsi's crime is that she supported Bernie Sanders in 2016 and did it properly. That's her crime. That's the crime that she is guilty of from the point of view of the party. And notice, like, just like everyone else about the Democratic and Republican Party, they have enormous contradictions and self-issues on a mess of internal issues that I don't know any Democrat that really talks about or cares or calls out. They will only do it if you're not in the club. That's what it's all about. We're talking tribalism, buddy. This is all this is. You're in the Democratic tribe, you're in the Republican tribe. Are you strengthening the tribe? Are you weakening the tribe? Those are the questions that matter to them.
And if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah. And it's like, ties right back to what we were talking about with Cenk. It doesn't matter the nuance to many people about issues like this. What matters is how their emotions are going to flare up and how they're going to respond, and they're going to react in a way that might be true to their own emotions, but they're only true to their emotions.
And so when I say for this midterm, what I hope, and of course it's not going to happen, but what I hope to see, what I would like to see, is more Americans realizing that the two-party system doesn't care about you, and you shouldn't be wasting your time canvassing or supporting some jagoff Republican or jagoff Democratic lawmaker that says they're going to care about you and make your life easier. They're not going to do it. They would have done so already if they gave a damn. So it's our social responsibility right now to wake people up to the fact and have a polite conversation. Don't yell at them. I mean, if they're going to yell at you, then fine, walk away. That person doesn't want to.
Or yell back, right? I mean, whatever. You know, but just know that you're probably not going to make any movement.
But the point is, we got to break away and walk away from it. We got to build something better. And I want to see movements that are outside the influence of Washington, D.C., that are not connected to Washington, D.C., or the two-party systems. We can do this. But remember, the current stock of lawmakers right now in Congress, they're not thinking about you, because if they did, things would be different, and nothing has fundamentally changed. With that being said,
well, I was just going to say, you know, if any of these progressive candidates were very serious about their stance, I think that they would walk in and submit a term limits bill. Yeah. Almost immediately, because it's the lack of term limits that also creates this not caring sort of feel of Washington.
Also, I just want to point out that's really funny on this. I love how politicians have argued the point successfully to many people that, hey, if I do the thing my constituents want and it doesn't pass, that's terrible. I should do the thing my constituent doesn't want and then pass it. That's better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least I got something done.
At least I got something done.
I said the serial killer.
Right, right. Nobody cares about your tax cuts just for the rich, okay?
Yeah, no one gives a damn, but these politicians somehow think that we do.